What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my Missouri Tigers football preview for 2016. Now, Mizzou's chances look a little bleak heading into 2016. They do have some talent coming back on both sides of the ball, but this will also be what is supposed to be a vastly improved SEC East. So Mizzou went 5-7 overall in 2016, or excuse me, 2015. 1-7 in conference, good for tied for sixth in the SEC East. Rough season for Mizzou in 2015. It just wasn't. I mean, obviously there was more than just the football team that had trouble. It was just the entire school went through kind of a shit show in 2015. So go ahead and start with the first of my three key players, and I'm going to start with the sophomore quarterback Drew Lock. So Locke struggled in 2015. There's no other way to put it. I mean, he was given a good running game. That was about it. The receivers weren't great. He came into a turbulent situation unexpectedly with how much just how much shit Matty Mock went through last year. Eventually getting dismissed from the team. Now, as a sophomore, another year under I believe a new offensive coordinator in Josh Heupel. With more experienced receiving coming back, a good tight end, it should be a better year for Drew Lock. There's no doubt about that. He's going to need to progress in 2016 if Missouri wants to stand a chance of making a bowl game this year. So my second key player is maybe the star of this Mizzou team and probably the best player along the defensive line as well, and that is defensive end Charles Harris. Harris leads a defensive line that not only will be a little bit improved in 2016, but also is just extremely talented. They have a lot of depth. Opposite him, Walter Brady should be good. Josh Augusta and Terry Beckner do make a good combination at defensive tackle. Terry Beckner expected to have maybe a little bit more of a breakout sophomore year after being a blue chip recruit and freshman in 2015. So move on to my third key player, and I've got the cornerback Anthony Cheryl. Mizzou's secondary was one of the more underrated parts of their team in 2015. They actually still had one of the best defenses in college football in 2015. Now, you got to consider how much experience they got coming back in the secondary. They bring back leader at safety Anthony Cheryl for his redshirt junior year, and then you got Aaron Penton at cornerback, two guys who were forced to be reckoned with last year and should be once again in 2016. The depth alongside them, John Gibson at corner, coming back for his senior year, and then Thomas Wilson at safety to play opposite Cheryl. So, get into the first of my two X factors, and it's going to start with the new coach, Barry Odom. He's led a good Mizzou defense for a couple years now, and I mean, Gary Pinkel did a great job at Mizzou while he was there, but he did resign last year, and Barry Odom took over. I think it's good they stayed in-house. I think this team can go in the right direction. I think they made a good move with getting Josh Heupel at offensive coordinator, and I think the defense is as talented as it's been the last couple of years. So I think they found the right hire there. So my second X factor is the biggest one, and that's offensive progression. They lost Russell Hansbrough last year anyway. He was injured for a lot of the season. Another big loss at running back, Natree Strong, a four-star recruit, did not enroll, did not beat academic standards. That one's going to hurt a little bit. So they're going to have to rely on Ish Witter a lot, who was the leading rusher from last year. At wide receiver, they are in a lot better situation, in my opinion, than they were last year. Nate Brown, Jamon Moore come back for their junior years, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more ready to go. And they have Alabama grad transfer Chris Black that I could see having a breakout year, being one of the breakout stars in the SEC, giving Drew Lock another weapon to work with on the outside. Sean Colkin, I don't know if I mentioned his name yet, but also another great player at tight end. Should just be another weapon for Drew Lock to work with. So moving to my trap game for Mizzou, and I think it's going to be Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gave them fits in 2015 when they lost 10-3. Again, this is just bringing the offense back into it. I do think Mizzou's going to be slightly favored heading into this game, but who knows by that point in the season? That game is on November 12th, so a lot of things can change by then. Vanderbilt's expected to be actually a decent team in 2016. Granted, I still had him finishing last in the SEC East. I still think Mizzou is a very talented team and has more talent than a lot of teams at the bottom of the SEC East. So getting into my biggest game, and I think it's going to be Georgia. This might be shooting a little bit high here. I was having a tough time deciding between Kentucky, South Carolina, and Georgia. But, this is a team that's not too far off of beating Georgia and winning the SEC East 2 years in a row. I do still think they have somewhat of that spirit left. I don't know how much of it is left. But, again, if Mizzou wants to move back into that region of being a true SEC East contender year in and year out, they're going to have to be able to beat Georgia. Obviously Florida and Tennessee too, but kind of cross that bridge when they get there. So my record prediction for Mizzou. This one, I don't know. Mizzou's season can, I think, best case scenario, maybe 7-8 wins. Worst case scenario, probably 2 wins. Actually, I don't know. Worst case scenario is probably 3. But in reality, I think they're going to finish at 6-7. I could see a 6-win regular season happening. They got West Virginia. That one's going to be a tough one. I don't think they're going to get that game. They might be able to, but they're going to be underdogs heading into it. Eastern Michigan, Delaware State and then Middle Tennessee State are their 3 other out-of-conference games. All those 3 should be wins. And then I see either a 2-win SEC season or a 2-win SEC East season with a win against West Virginia, or a 3-win SEC season with a loss against West Virginia. Either way, I think they're going to finish the regular season at 6-6 and then probably a bowl loss to finish out the season. Either way, it would be a progression from last year and get some stability under the program, which I think is the thing that's most needed right now, because this is a team that actually can have a decent amount of potential heading into 2017 if Drew Lock can progress in the right way. So that pretty much does it for my Mizzou preview for 2016. I'll be coming back later today with my Mississippi State preview, so staying in the SEC. Stay tuned for that. That's pretty much it. See ya.